Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Now today I just not really felt like putting on any makeup, but I don't want to get like that because yeah, I'm just feeling a little bit low about my foot and it's very stingy, blah de blah. So on days like that I force myself to put makeup on because it will make me feel better. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to show you a couple of things that I haven't shown you yet. One of the things was some Stila eyeshadows. Now you saw one of them before Christmas, but I got in the Black Friday sale, I got a little set of Stila eyeshadows, which I will show you in a minute. And so I thought, and I've also got two single ones, so I thought I'd show you all of them so that you could see them and see the difference between them, and I'll do a look with them. But first of all, given that yesterday's foundation was looking a little bit yellow, I decided to have a little bit of an experiment with my foundation this morning and this afternoon even, and try something that's going to look a little bit pinker. Okay, and so keep tuned and let's get going with this. First of all, I'm going to go in with Flawless Filter, but instead of using shade 5, which is what I used yesterday, which is tan and looks quite yellow undertoned, I'm going to use shade 3. Now shade 3 might be a little bit pale for me, but it's got more of a pink undertone to it, so it's not going to make me look, as you can see, it might be a bit fair, but it's not going to make me look as yellow as yesterday. So I'm going to put this on and I'm using it as a primer to give me a bit of glow, because I feel I need some glow today. Okay, so I'll probably fast forward through this while I'm putting it on with my Huda foundation brush. Okay, now as you can see, that's looking a lot more like me. Now the thing is with Flawless Filter, it isn't going to give you full coverage. It's one of those things that gives you extra coverage. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use Kat Von D Lock-It foundation. Now the one I got was in shade 53, which is neutral. So again, it's not going to give me yellow undertones. However, it's far too pale for me. I probably needed to get, I think I worked it out some time ago, either 56 or 58. I think it was 58. Anyway, not to worry, because I've also got another foundation which is not as high coverage but gives a bit of a glow. And this is Aqua Luminous. And this is in shade Tan, which is too dark for me. So I'm going to mix the two together and try and get a decent shade. Now the thing is, even though it's tan, it doesn't look too yellow. So it's a tan without a yellow. I'm not sure what they call the undertone of this, but there may be some yellow in it with it being tan, but it doesn't look really yellow. So I'm just going to place a bit of this Kat Von D on my hand, like so. If I show you what this looks like on its own, you will see too light. Okay, and when you're using full coverage foundation, it doesn't sort of simply look okay once you blend it in. You need to get a good shade mix, which is why when I'm using this foundation I often mix it. I do not like the cap to this. It took me ages to work it out. Look, you see all the foundation that gets in around it, and you pull this thing off. It's just a bit unhygienic. And this one is even more annoying because it is a pipette. So you have to press down on this thing here. This is the Becca one. And then you have to squeeze some onto your hand, or if you're an Instagrammer, just do that. Now you'll see, I'll show you what this one looks like on me. Way too dark. Let me just show you that one. See? Oops. Let me just... But because this one is sheerer, that would actually blend out, but it would look way too dark, but not too yellow. So hopefully, if I mix these two together, I should get something that is just about right. Probably put a little bit too much of, oh no, maybe not. I was thinking I might have put too much of the tan in then. So let's get that on my face and blend that in. Still a little bit yellow for me, but I will do my NW trick, and I must make a note, I think, to treat myself to some NW 25 powder foundation. I might have another warm. Now I've got a neutral powder foundation. If I can dig that out, I'll put that on instead, I think. Depending on how yellow this looks, because neutral might not neutralise it enough. It needs a pink undertone to neutralise the yellow. So, you know, if you're looking too yellow, you neutralise it with the warm NW because that's got a pink undertone, and vice versa. If you're looking too pink or too red, then you neutralise it by using something that's got a more yellow undertone. Okay, let's rub this in and I'll fast forward again. Now, I do want to put a little bit more around my eyes. And because around your eyes, you normally go for something lighter anyway and more neutral, I don't have to mix. It's tricky if you need to add extra because you don't know the exact mix that you've just done. So I'm just going to put the Kat Von D on its own. And it will be lighter, but it's okay because it's under my eyes. So it's a bit like putting a concealer on, really, a brightening concealer. And actually I won't need as much, if any, concealer by doing this. Maybe a tiny bit. Okay, so now I'm going to get, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my concealer palette from MAC as well as my powder, because that's got all sorts of different undertones in it. And I definitely recommend the palette because of that. You can kind of experiment if you're not sure about counteracting undertones and what undertone looks right on you. And what I'm talking about, then you can experiment with different shades. So I'll show you that. Okay, so this is the MAC concealer palette, and I think I've shown it you before. I know I have. But basically you've got, this is the medium one. They do a light one and they do a dark one. So the medium one has got different shadows. Now, let me just have a look at the box. Does it say in here what the colours are? It does somewhere. Ah, yes, on the back here. So you have NC30, which is slightly lighter than my normal. So NC30, NW25, can you see that's got more of a pink undertone? And then you've got NC35, which is the foundation that I normally use. You've got NW35, which is the equivalent in a pink undertone. And then you've got mid-yellow, which is a kind of colour corrector, and mid-peach. So it allows you to experiment with different shades. So as you can see now, I'm wanting to go for something a bit pinker, because at the moment my foundation is looking very yellowy on me. And if I start to apply this one, which is called NW25, you will see why I want to grab myself an NW25 powder, because it kind of neutralizes that yellow a bit more. I'm not sure if that's that visible on this camera. Let me just put some on with my finger. And of course your skin tone does change a lot throughout the year, especially if, like me, you tan very easily. Your skin tone is going to change a lot. So it's probably a good idea to have a couple of shades. And to get this palette is good, because it means this palette was £35 and a concealer is generally about 26 for one shade. So this enables you, they last a long time because they're thick cream concealers. It gives you something that you can use throughout the year, so that you're not having to go and buy different shades. Now, for that thing on my head, I might want to blend in a little bit more of my NC35, like so, because I want to match it to the foundation that I've just put on, or that I would normally put on. Otherwise, I'm going to have a pink dot in the middle of all that foundation, which is not going to look good. Okay. And then you have a peach one. That's going to look even pinkier. But that's going to take down... The thing about the peach one, is it's kind of neutralises some of those brown marks. Probably could do with a darker peach than that. But anything peach, because orange and brown is sort of opposite, will help to take down some of that muddiness. And if I put some over there, it might just take it a little bit down, because I'm going to cover it with powder. Okay, and then I'll just put a bit of my NC35. I still got some remnants on my brush at the moment, so I've got a mishmash of colours going around my nose and my mouth. Put a bit of NC35 around my nose. I keep missing out this bit, the bridge of my nose, for some reason. Okay, next up, I'm just going to show you what happens if I do apply this NW30 and pat it on the skin, because actually it might look okay at the moment. Actually it does. So I'm just going to pat this on, and you will see it transforms some of that yellowness. It might also make me look a bit flat, but I can correct that later on. Yeah, you can see it up there. Can you see what I mean? It kind of looks a little bit too dark. But it gets rid of the yellowness. Right, I'm just going to take the brush now.
You think that would...
And then with setting brush, I'm just going to go underneath where I've used that concealer and set it with some of this powder too. Now, if I'm starting to look a bit flat, I will just use some setting spray. Now, there's no glow in any of these powders, so I've got the option of using a setting spray with some shimmer in it to give me the glow back. But we'll see what I use on the rest of my face first. Okay, so then I'm just going to use this MAC sculpting palette, as I'm on all MAC apart from the foundation, that is. So this is a light to medium sculpting palette, which you can see you've got all sorts of different ones. You've got a pink one there. You can sculpt with these shades. Very handy again to kind of think, what colour do I want? So I can take the darker one and use that as a sculpting shade, like so. Might look a bit stripy for a minute, but don't worry. I'm going to make sure everything's blended in. Now for my nose contour, I'll probably go in with this one. Right, okay, so then I'm just going to put some of this eye brightener one under here, under my eyes, because I did use a normal foundation powder and I want something a bit more brightening. And I can also, I'm going to go for the brighter one actually, to just highlight the centre of my face. And this has got a slight, very slight shimmer in it by the looks of it, but only subtle. Will show up more when I spray. So it just allows you to sculpt, and I'm going to go back in with the darker one to go under my chin. I've also got these ones which have got more of a pink undertone, which I can just go around my face with to make sure it counteracts a little bit of that yellowness. See how you can kind of just experiment. And there is also a pink highlighter. I'm just playing now. Don't follow this, I'm just playing. Okay, so you can see up to that point I've kind of matched. I'm never going to match my chest, which looks very pale in comparison and always does. Okay, so that is my base done. So these are the Stila eyeshadows that I have. I've got 3 in a set, and I've got 2 individual ones to show you. So the 3 in a set, they hadn't been a set over Christmas for £29. But after Christmas, they were half price in Marks and Spencer's. So I had my eye on them before Christmas, so I'm glad that I sat on my hands and waited until they were half price. So these, they're slightly different. So you can have, with the Stila, you can have Shimmer and Glow, and Shimmer and, what's the other one's called? There's another one that's called Shimmer and something else. Metals, Magnificent Metals, Glitter and Glow. There's Shimmer and Glow and Glitter and Glow. So I'm going to show you the difference, because I've got one Glitter and Glow. Now the Shimmer and Glow are more akin to what you would see in, say, one of Charlotte Tilbury's Colour Chameleons. Not in texture, but in terms of appearance. So they'll give you a nice shimmer on the lids. And I'm going to struggle to get this out. No, I'm not. So this is the one that you will have seen. That I did before Christmas, which is called Pigalle, and I will just swatch that on here for you. So this one is a burgundy kind of shade, which you can either build it up so that it's like that in intensity, and it reminds me a lot of Charlotte's Colour Chameleon in bronzed garnet. You can either build it up so it looks like that, or you can blend it in and it sort of takes on more of a matte appearance like that. But once they dry down, they don't budge. That will, if I don't wash my hand, which I will of course, that will be on my hand tomorrow. I can guarantee you. They really dry down to feel like your skin. So that's Pigalle, all right. And then I've got this set of 3 is also Shimmer and Glow. So I have This one, which is more like, it's called Twig. This one reminds me more of Amber Haze, perhaps a little bit darker though than Amber Haze. So it's more of a true brownie bronze shade. A little bit like Bet. So again, that's how you can build it up to look like that, or you can rub it in and it will go down to that. So they go down to a little bit of a shimmer, but almost looking matte. Okay, so that one is called Twig. Then these two shades, now I'm wondering if they're going to look that different on camera, but they are different. So this one is called Cloud, and this is like a lilac shade. Okay, so let me just show you. If I show it you like at full throttle, you should be able to see that it's lilac. Yes, that's good. So that's kind of lilac colour. And then again, when you blend that in, it looks a lot more difficult to distinguish it as lilac. It's kind of very subtle lilac. But that would be good on any eye because of the slight hint of lilac in it. And because purple contrasts with every eye colour, you're guaranteed that that's going to make any eye colour pop. Okay. And then the last shimmer one is called Kitten. This one is really good. This one reminds me of Jean in Charlotte's Eyes to Mesmerise. And it's good to kind of put in the centre of your lid, or to put on your entire lid, or even use as a highlighter. You can do that. So that's what it looks like before, when you build it up, before you blend it in, or when you rub it in. You can see it does still, it look different, but it's not quite as different to the one above. It's sort of more pink and that other one's more purple. Okay. And then finally, this is the first one that I got, which is a Glitter and Glow. Now, this one is not one I'd recommend you put over your entire eye because it has got quite large chunks of glitter in it. But it's really good at, like when I was using the Pat McGrath, this would be really good to dot in the centre to kind of really bring out the highlight of those glitter sparkly shadows of Pat McGrath's. So you could do that. Or you know, for a night out, but I'll show you the difference. Now this one is called Rose Gold Retro, and I love everything rose gold. So if you look at that, it's very like Kitten actually. So it's good that I put it right next to Kitten. It's very like Kitten, but when I blend it out, you will see that it doesn't blend out as matte. It actually, you could hopefully see that it's got more glitter particles in it. Yeah, you can see that it kind of looks far more glittery, and you can see the chunks of glitter are a lot bigger than in the one above, but otherwise quite similar colours. So I thought I would do a look, and I haven't decided what, but I think I'm going to use Twig today, and Twig and a bit of, because I'm wearing purple, I might put a bit of the lilac one in the centre of my eye and see what that looks like. Go for something quite simple. So this one is Twig, and you just paint it onto your eyelid like that. You can rub it in with your fingers, or you can use a Real Techniques shadow brush, which is what I'm going to do today. Okay, so just paint that on like so. And where is that eyeshadow brush that I had? Is that the one I was going to use? I don't think it... Oh, yes, it was. Is this the medium shadow brush? No, it's this one. Found it before it dries down. Good. So this is called the Deluxe Crease Brush by Real Techniques. So I just buff that off around the eye outside And as you can see, it was already starting to dry down. So it's best when you're using these to work on one eye at a time. What you don't want to do is to go back in and find that it started to dry down and you've got that line, can you see? Which is what happened to me because I left it a bit too long. But that's fine. If that happens to you, that's not a problem. You can just go over. I like to layer these anyway. You can just go over and do another layer and build it up. And by building up the layers, rather than just dabbing on a thick layer, it will last you a lot longer anyway, as well as building up the intensity of the shadow. And what's good about these shadows is that they look like you've spent a lot of time when actually you're doing something quite simple. So like the colour chameleons, you really don't need to spend a lot of time to look like you've spent a lot of time. You see that? So let me do the other eye. I've missed a little bit. Can you see there? So I need to just make sure. What Charlotte always does with her colour chameleons anyway, is she always takes it and runs it along the line like that, so that you can definitely see it when you close your eyes, which is not a bad idea. I think what I'm going to do is just run it along in a thicker line on that very bottom bit of my lid before that first little crease in my eyelid, and let that dry down just as it is. Okay, right, I'm going to go in with the other eye and I will do that and speed this bit up. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry down for a minute, and then I'm just going to take a tiny bit, make sure I've taken the remnants off the side, and just run that underneath. And then probably could do with a smudge brush. I'm just going to do this with my fingers. I'm just going to smudge that along before it dries, and again with the other eye. Okay, now that the top one has dried down a bit, I have no idea, this could turn out disastrously wrong, but I hope not. I'm going to try the lilac and put it in the middle, just to kind of bring in the purple from my look, because actually this is probably would have been better using Pigalle, that first one that I showed you up there, because of the purple that I'm wearing. But I wanted to try Twig, so I'm going to go in with this lilac one, which is this one here, and I'm just going to put this on the centre of my lid, dab it on like so, and then I'm going to blend the sides in, and actually that doesn't look too bad. And then the other side. Don't put on more than a line, because that is going to spread quite a long way. If you put on any more, you're going to find that you're covering the entire lid, and you're kind of dabbing it so that you're not blending it out too far on the eyelid. You just want a bit of a highlight in the middle. Now, just to show you, I'm going to use the Kitten one so that you see all of them in action. I'm going to use the Kitten one to highlight under my brow. Again, you don't need to put too much because this is going to blend out quite some way. And making sure I'm just going to do this with my fingers. I'm just going to blend that in. So I start to link it in with that upper shade. Like so. And if you like, you can also put some of that in the inner corner. Again, just dot it. And take your pinky and just sort of press and dab. Just making sure that bit's blended in there. So there you have it. So that eyeshadow look, I do feel like I need to just blend this bit in. Now this brush hasn't got any shadow on. I'm just going to go back in and make sure that this bit, which looks like there's a bit too much of a severe line, is blended in a bit more. And I will show you the cleanup again. Let's do this side as well. So they do blend a little bit once they've dried down. And don't forget that that one that I just used under my brow will still be slightly wet. Okay, so next up we're going to put our eyeliner and mascara on. So I will do that, and in a jiffy I will be right back after I've clicked my fingers. Okay, so I've done my eyes and I've put some white under the waterline. So now I'm just going to put a little bit more Flawless Filter on top. Because I've put quite a bit of powder on, my complexion's looking a bit flat and I want a bit more shine. So I just put some there, 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 and there. And then I shall dab that in with my fingers, just making sure that they've got no eyeshadow left on them from when I was blending in that shadow. I'll do. Just dotting that on. You'll see that will give you your glow back. And then I'm going to use something I haven't used for a while, which is a blush that gives you glow. That went up a bit high. Sorry about that, guys. A blush that gives you a bit of glow. From Charlotte Tilbury. One of her Pretty Youth filters. But before I do that, I'm just going to use a bit of this rather than going and getting my concealer again to clean up this clean up this area here by taking it with a concealer brush. This is me being lazy. I should do it with a concealer really, but because of where it is, it's fine. I'll get away with using the Flawless Filter. Just take that up in a line to just clean up the sides, like so. And the other side, can you see at the moment the difference? Okay, so just take a bit of that on the side there, and then with my concealer brush from Real Techniques, I'm dabbing it because it's not as high coverage as a concealer. I want to make sure it covers it up the eyeshadow. Okay, and then I'm going to get Charlotte's Pretty Youth filter in Pretty Fresh. Okay, so we now have Pretty Fresh, Pretty Youth Glow filter. That looks well used, doesn't it? Well loved, but I haven't used it for a few weeks. And I've got the brush. And so I'm gonna, ooh, that nearly went on the floor. Clumsy me. Let's try again. Right. I have to remember, this is not a cream, it's a powder. Okay, sorry about that, a phone call. So I'm doing this, I have to remember it's a powder, it's not a cream, because if I think of it as a cream, I will press too hard and then it will take the foundation off and it will come out as too pigmented. But it does give a lovely glow to the skin. And it goes very well over, straight on top of the flawless filter. So we're doing that, and I'm just doing circular movements to blend it in well. And then I just take a little bit each side to make sure that it's balanced out, and that's giving me a bit of the pink back for any yellow undertone that I might have. I'm still going to use a highlighter, so I will use Charlotte's Bronze and Glow, and then we'll get onto the lips. By the way, in case you haven't seen this trick, you can use this brush and use it with your Bronze and Glow. Okay, so you just take your brush like this and you put the longer side against the highlighter and the shorter side against the bronzer. Can you see what I'm doing here? And then if you do this, you will get a lovely sculpted look. Some of it might go over that blusher a bit, but it doesn't matter. Can you see how that places it quite well? Let's do the other side. Now I want to put a little bit of contour a bit lower down, so I'll just take my setting brush and with the bronzer suck in my cheeks. And then the highlighter.
Okay, alright, let's do this. Are you ready to get this victory royale?
Yeah, I'm super ready. Dude, honestly, if I get a win right here, I will give you a $50 tip.
Alright, so
and then I'll just take some of that highlighter, pop it over the top of that Stila one.
You're a no skin. You're a bot.
What? What did you just say to me?
I said you're a no skin.
And down the centre.
It's fine. I'm here to make you a non-no skin.
Thank you.
And that's it all done. So all that is left now is for the lips. And I have an idea up my sleeve for the lips. Okay, first up, I'm going to go in with Super Size Me. And then I'm going to go in with a lovely lipstick, which I adore actually, and haven't worn for a while because I have so many lipsticks, which is confession. So I'm going to put that over the top. This is out of the Lip Archive, but you could actually buy it separately just before Christmas. So let me just show you this. Now this is very similar to Pillow Talk, except it's got slightly more of a brown undertone, and also it is not a matte revolution. So I love that lipstick. Now if you want to kind of further define your lips, I might do that actually. I'm just going to do something to further define my lips. I'm just taking Hollywood Honey
let's go to low legs.
And just at the side,
What that means?
Okay, we'll press space.
Space right now. All right, where am I going? Where do I go? Where do I go?
adding a little bit of darker. The Hollywood Honey is darker than
Yeah, go there.
the lipstick that I've got on.
It doesn't seem like I'm improving that much, but I appreciate your time. I'm happy you're taking what?
Yeah, I also probably should have told you this, but so it's like reverse psychology. The gray with the better and the gold.
Can you see how that just gives a bit more definition?
Just said it, but I was almost positive at this point that this guy was trolling me, ladies and gentlemen. And this video is about to get a whole.
But also by not taking it all the way up to the middle.
Items are better than the gold items, and obviously, if anyone has ever played Fortnite before,
It's not looking like you've got a line around your mouth. It's just making them look a bit more deep set. And then you can just
a lot crazier. I ended up calling him out for being fake. Watch what he says. His reaction will make you so surprised. All right, so
blend it out like that with your fingers.
This is a chest. Here, I'll give you that.
Okay, so that is my look for today. I'm wondering whether to put some lip gloss on, but I think I'll leave it at that. So I hope you've enjoyed today's look. I'm just making sure that this is blended in. I keep thinking it's not. And I'm going to finish off by just spraying my face with some setting spray. So I'll just do that and fan my face and be right back. Okay, so I've just sprayed my face. I've let it dry down. I just used a normal setting spray, not one with any glitz in it, because I think I had enough highlighter on my face. So I hope you've enjoyed today's look, and I will see you very soon. Have a brilliant weekend and take care now. Bye bye.